Hey, what's up, everybody? Alien X Gaming here. I got another popular man on the show. This is the interview with Mr. Sensible this time. How you doing today, sir?
Not so bad, thanks. Not so bad at all. You?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
Every now and then I have better days, but no.
Yeah.
but yeah, I got you on. I really do appreciate you doing this and agreeing to doing this because I've watched your content for a bit. I never really got to know you. I don't really even remember really speaking to you prior to talking about interview stuff. But I do appreciate you coming on, and this is going to be basically like all my other interviews where I'm going to go and ask you some questions, not very personal, but it's to get to know you more so than just as a creator, but as a person. Which is
Ask
very
your questions, gatekeeper.
all right, sir.
Bridgekeeper.
Bridge. Oh goodness. All right, so we're going to start off nice and simple.
Okay.
How did you get the name Mr. Sensible as your YouTube name?
Oh, Mr. Sensible. Yeah. Actually, spent quite a long time thinking about that because what I didn't want to do is choose the name that ended up being wrong. I didn't want anything tied to a particular topic. I mean, look at the creators who've moved away, for instance, from Flat Earth to sovereign citizens or whatever. And if it was something tied too greatly to a topic, that could be problematical. And I always remember an actor when I was younger called Yahoo Serious, which I thought was a fabulous name. And I thought, well, I'm going to be doing things in a light-hearted manner, a bit of messing around and that sort of thing. So what's the opposite of that? Sensible. And that's where it came from, Mr. Sensible. And it's stuck, and I'm happy with it because it's neutral, and I'm not aware of anyone else who has a name similar, so that helps.
Yeah, definitely, and you don't have to conform to one sort of topic without changing your
No,
name, which is awesome.
yeah,
Whereas
definitely.
I'm kind of stuck. Alien X Gaming. Yep. So Alien X interviews just would have been really stupid. So I got to keep it. But I do gaming too, so it is what it is. All right. So, Mr. Sensible, where are you from?
From the UK. I was born in England, sort of live in the central area. Was yeah, born here, lived here, and I now live sort of within 30 miles of where I was born. I've worked in other areas of the country, but yeah, UK, definitely born and bred.
All right. I couldn't tell from the accent
Well, I
either.
say born and born and bred. I'm actually of Hungarian extraction, but there we go.
Ah.
Yeah.
You're not Bredalothian? No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, okay. So, the fuck, I don't even know. Pause. All right. So, let's see here. You are in the UK, and
Yep.
as growing up, what were some of the jobs that you had done coming up in age?
Well, I left school quite early, really, 16, because of various, family type issues, and come out of school and, to be honest, pretty much felt a failure, even though I'd been doing well up until the last couple of years. Um, and so the one thing I was really keen on and knew I was good at was working with computers. So I applied for a course in computing and passed all the sort of tests to be able to get on the course, passed the interviews, and then when they take my personal details, oh, your date of birth, oh, oh, you're too young, you can't go on at age 16, and they told me I'd have to come back a year later. So I spent a year doing a couple of other jobs just to fill the time, really, and I worked in a tobacconist, which was dead boring. It was a real old-fashioned tobacconist, had some amazing stuff there, and I was a smoker at the time, but we weren't allowed to smoke at the shop. That's when you could smoke in shops. We weren't allowed to.
That's kind of funny.
But I also, I also spent a while working at a car factory, not on the actual line, but for a contractor who helped support the line. And the brilliant thing was, when I'd done my work, I just had to stay there to fill my hours, and I would wander up and down the line watching the guys. Some jobs were interesting, some were boring, but I had access to the paint shop, and I could see all the robots doing, under sealing and painting around the vehicles. I spent hours and hours watching that. It was so fantastic, until I was old enough to go on that course, which I passed with absolute flying colours, having just wasted a year really, and then went into IT. Spent 12 to 13 years in my first job, absolutely amazing company, and then moved on to another company. The first one was working with mainframes, but then moved on to another company when we were working with PCs and web design and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it was a company in a market that was doomed to fail at the first sign of recession, because it was one of those businesses that's nice to have rather than need to have. And so I ended up with redundancy. So having spent 18, 20 years working in IT, I decided that was it. I'd had enough. And I worked for a friend,
Okay.
beekeeping. So it
Beekeeping.
was beekeeping, yeah. Most amazing thing. I learnt so much. And it's a fantastic hobby. And yeah, really interesting things. And yeah, I worked for him for a summer, and spending a year doing some manual labour in a beautiful hot summer, working in nature, was just amazing. And I couldn't face going back to an office. So after that, I ran a couple of small businesses and was a stay-at-home dad for a few years for my youngest, until she grew up enough. And then I totally changed career to what I'm doing now, which I can't tell you about, or I'll have to kill you.
Don't threaten me with a good time. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no. And no, I've been doing this latest thing for about 9 years now.
Cool, very cool. Bees. That is definitely an interesting thing, and I watched a little bit about that like a couple years back about how important bees actually really are. Everybody always sees them as a nuisance, but without bees, life would be different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this guy, his honey farm, that year was a really good year, and I was his only assistant. And between the two of us, we pulled in 12.5 tons of honey.
Wow.
Just me and him. I know. And at the end, he said, "Oh, I've had a great year. I really want to thank you. Do you want a cash bonus, or do you want a beehive?" And I said, "You know what? I'll have a beehive." And he actually gave me 3 and a couple of colonies. So for several years, I kept bees.
Wow. All right.
It's the most honestly, if you ever get a chance to have a close look at a beehive, take it. It's really worth it.
Very, very cool. That's awesome. Let's see. Speaking of nature, pets. Do you have pets?
Oh yeah, I've always had pets. Had cats from when I grew up. We've got, I think, right now we got chickens. We got 2 dogs, 2 cats. One of which is Mr. Arnold, who's my sort of producer and appears occasionally on my channel. And I've got a tropical fish tank and a massive marine aquarium. I kept fish since I was about 11 years old, and I've gradually worked up, and this was my ultimate tank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It cost a lot of money. Mrs. S doesn't quite know how much it cost.
We won't talk about that.
No.
What kind of marine animals do you keep in it?
Well, right now the tank's not in the best of conditions. I had some issues with it, but I was keeping corals, and I've only got a few specialist fish. I've got a regal tang, which really is not called dory, and a powder blue tang. That was my dream fish right from when I was a kid. I saw one, and I'd always dreamt of having one of those one day, and now I've got one. And in fact, about 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to go on holiday to the Maldives, and I swam with them, and a turtle as well. So yeah, that's always been my dream tank, and I've got it now. I won't be upgrading. There's no room.
No worries.
And no money.
That had to have been very awesome, swimming with them in the wild,
Yeah. It was an incredible experience.
Very, very cool.
But I've always had animals. I've had snakes, dagoos, bearded dragons, you name it. We've probably had it at one time or other.
Excellent. And you mentioned tell me a little bit about your family, if that you can.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, I can. Well, it's known on my channel. I am married to she who must be obeyed, Mrs. Sensible, and we've got 3 daughters. The eldest is now married. Spent a couple of years living in Australia. Is now living in the States with her husband. Middle daughter works local, and the youngest daughter is just about completing her first year at uni, and she's doing sort of film and media, which I hope will come in useful one day. I keep saying, "Hey, why don't you do some stuff for my channel?" Actually, she did my intro.
Oh,
she did my intro, which is nice.
Very
but
cool.
I want to rope her in for more. She's cheap.
There you go. You already paid for it. No.
Yeah, prepaid.
Excellent. Okay, so a little bit more. Let's see here. What kind of car do you drive?
Well, I've got 2.
Okay.
One is an older Mercedes. Excellent value for money. You get a lot of car for your money. people look at the car and they think, oh my goodness, how much did that cost? I actually had someone who said, when they were guessing, they knew it was second hand. They said, what's that, about £10,000? No, it was four. Just stuck a cheap private plate on it. You wouldn't know. It drives beautiful. It's a dream. I absolutely love it. My other car will, in January coming, be 50 years old.
Okay.
It's an old Series 3 Land Rover that I rebuilt from scratch on a new chassis, new stainless steel nuts, bolts, and everything throughout. I regalvanized all the panels, some of the internal panels. A total rebuild. It took me. It was during that time when I was a stay-at-home dad. You know, I had a garage available and spare time was spent on that. So I've had it for quite a few years, and that's cheap as chips to run.
Have you? I'm sure you've heard of this. I was only first introduced to this a few days back, actually, from one of the members on my channel. A Overfinch. I guess that's
Overfinch, which is a Range Rover which has been tarted up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, oh my goodness. You know?
Yeah. No. Mine's. Well, when I got it, it was a 2.25 litre petrol and did about 13 miles to the gallon. I've converted it to a diesel and I'm getting about 35. As I said, I spent about 2.5 years rebuilding it. I finished it in the May, and in the August we drove, 5 of us, me, Mrs. S and the 3 daughters, drove across Europe to Hungary for a family holiday and then back across the Alps in a vehicle I had completed 3 months before.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was a bit cramped. We slept in it. It's only a short wheelbase vehicle, but that was an expedition and a half.
Hey, as long as you guys had fun in this experience, you guys are going to remember. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
Can't beat it. Holidays. So holiday in America is vacation.
Yeah.
We're just weird. And the university that I was talking about earlier, that's college. All right. So anyway, where would you say would be a favorite vacation spot or holiday spot that you and your family would go to?
Yeah, well, I'd have to say, to be honest, we've either not been adventurous, not had the money, or not had the ability, you know, with so many kids to perhaps go to some of the places we want to. I once was very fortunate to have been sent to Phoenix, Arizona for a training course, a 2-week training course, and then I stayed on a bit. Absolutely adored it. That is the most beautiful place. I love deserts and that sort of, you know, the wild rugged beauty. And you know, I went round to the petrified forests, painted desert, meteor crater. I went down to Tombstone. I drank a drink in Big Nose Kate's saloon. I went into the OK Corral. Absolutely loved it, and I would love to go back again. Me and Mrs. S, because my daughter is now sort of living in the States, in Florida. We want to go to Florida and then drive across to Arizona. That's something we want to do. But then the other holiday we'd like to do again is going to the Maldives, because that was the most stunning place I've ever seen. Absolutely incredible.
Cool.
Yeah, want to do that again.
Awesome. Did you guys see the that giant gash in the land that giant scooped out the remnants of the moon? I mean, the Grand Canyon?
It's bigger than you think. Oh. When I went there, went into Grand Canyon National Park and saw they had what do they call those giant cinema screens? I've forgotten what they call them. IMAX. Mm-hmm. And I'd never been to one before, and I thought, hey, this is an opportunity. So they were just showing a film about the Grand Canyon. So I saw it, wow, this is amazing on this big screen. Now I'm going to see the real thing. And as I drove up to the canyon, I deliberately didn't look, locked up the car, got out carefully, walked out onto the promontory, looking down, and then looked up. And I swear it must have been a good 2 minutes. I just stared, you know, my mouth hanging open, seeing the other side 10 miles away. Absolutely incredible thing. And I'll tell you what, that really is one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah.
If you've not seen it, you cannot grasp it until you see it.
I went by there once. Yeah, no, I was tiny. I don't even remember it.
Oh, you got to go back again.
Oh, I do.
Got to go back again.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to go up to Nevada to what do they call them? You know, where they film all the cowboy films. I've forgotten the name. You know, those rock formations.
Yeah, I know the Death Valley.
Yeah, that's something else. I'd like to go. Yeah, but I don't mean Death Valley. They're not mesas. I forgot what they're called. In all the cowboy films.
The plateaus and all that stuff, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to see that as well.
Yeah, I do too. Like, you see that in the films and you're just like, wow.
It really
Like,
does look like another world, doesn't it?
yeah, like how did nature do that kind of stuff? It's just amazing,
Yeah.
some of this stuff, you know. So that's very, very awesome. You've probably been to a few places in America that I haven't even been to, and I live here, you know.
Well, I haven't been out of Arizona.
Well, it's been a long time since I've been to Arizona. How's that? No.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so let's start moving on to some of the content that you create. Unless there's anything else about
Okay.
your life that you would like to talk about, real quick. Anything?
Oh, I don't know really. I don't know.
Fair
Um,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's if you have a question, by all means ask it. But I can't think of anything in particular.
Not a problem. If you think some
Yeah,
at the end, no worries. We'll rejoin
yeah.
it.
Well,
Um,
we've got a multi-generational family because we've got my children and my wife's parents living with us, which did cause issues with regard to COVID. But thankfully, because of my work, they said, right, because you're living with some elderly people, you work from home. So, those sort of things are sorted. Um, yeah, a multi-generational family, multi-generational household. That's how they call it, isn't it?
Fair enough. Okay. How long have you been a content creator on YouTube?
I first thought doing it quite a few years back, but I've got to be honest and say I didn't really know what to do. At the time, I was following Thunderfoot and all his stuff, which I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. Got to watch Why Do People Laugh at Creationists if you haven't. Big recommendation there. And I did toy with the idea of that. But I realised as well, I was reading an awful lot of stuff about Flat Earth. I was following the Flat Earth Society, the online forum rather than YouTube, never really knowing there was much on YouTube. When I saw that, I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. And that was about 2.5 years ago. I
Okay.
think, something like that. Yeah.
All right. I hear a lot about something you in relation with cheese. What's
Oh,
that?
yes.
What's that all about?
Oh, my dear friend Anthony Riley caused that. Yeah, I did a debunk on him. He was talking about relative density, and I was thinking, what can I do to try and debunk relative density? So I came up with the idea of having two quantities of grated cheese, okay, in a balance. So there we are, they'd balance. I then took one of those bags of cheese and crushed it really hard, make it as dense as I could. And apparently they still balanced, even though one was much more dense than the other.
You're kidding
And
me.
of course, and that's where it came from. Yeah.
Okay.
So I busted him with cheese, and then because of that, I did a couple more. I can't think who else I busted with cheese. I haven't done it for a long while actually, and I do occasionally get people saying, "We need more cheese.
There
We
you
need
go.
more cheese," and it just became a bit of a shtick, and the theme for the channel. So my logo is now sort of Mr. Sensible ripping over, showing a cheese logo.
Super cheese. No.
Yeah, and it's just carried on from there. It's something harmless, it's fun,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
when you can think of a way of busting someone with cheese, it's a stupid way for someone to be busted. He was busted with a block of cheddar cheese, How embarrassing.
That's amazing.
So that's where it came from.
Awesome. Okay, so you got a lot of stuff on your YouTube channel, everything from some live stuff to personal content as far as just bashing idiots. Flat earthers are the majority of your content, I believe.
They are.
And how long would you say it takes you to come up with a good 15-minute video? I mean, how much time does a creator put into something like that to have production value and content that is creative?
Well, the thing is, as your skill increases with the software and techniques and so on, you're then investing more time doing that. Whereas before, you do the same length video, it would take you longer for less of a professional looking result. When I look at some of my earlier ones, the lighting was horrendous. The sound was just the sound on a little webcam, which actually I'm still using a little. What's all I'm using is a £15 Logitech webcam perched on the top of my screen. To be honest, sometimes nowadays it can take almost as long to find a couple of videos as it takes to shoot one, because flat earthers are dying out. They're a dying breed.
Thank
When I
goodness.
find a video, I don't know. I know people do it differently. What I usually do is watch it a couple times, so I get a general idea of what I'm going to do. I then load the video into my editor, and I just play it and think, right, stop. and I cut. I'll put something in there, and I'd go like that all the way through. So I've already got it cut into little bits. Then I go back to the beginning again, play the first chunk, think exactly what I'm going to say, record it, slot it in, and do that all the way along. Then I go through again and tighten up all the editing, because you get the little pause at the beginning and end of recording, and I give it a double check, make sure it's okay. Then I go through it again and fit any sound effects or graphics, and then again pop in the music and stick on the intro and outro. An ordinary video, I think possibly about 5 or 6 hours for a 15-minute video, something like that.
All right.
So it's longer than you think, but it's not as long as some people. I mean, other people invest more time for more fancy. I'm not criticising at all. I don't have much in the way of graphics, but some people invest a lot more time in doing fancier things. Just take Flat Earth. I haven't watched whichever film it's come from. When he does that thing and he crumbles into dust, he must spend several hours doing that special effect.
I like the one where it's like ping, and then that,
yes,
that's kind of cool too.
It is. So it's a question of balance. I have done some special effects, but then I have to balance. Okay, how much is it worth it to me and to my audience? Balanced against how much time is it going to take? So I try and find a happy medium, but gradually increasing what I can do.
Sure. As you grow in skill, everything even gets better, and that's great.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
Even my little cheese man logo there, that started off just as a static graphic. Then I spent a couple hours turning it into that rotating thing, which is probably someone else and I could do it a lot quicker now, but that first time I had to work out how to do it. Sure. And then make it into a loop and so on. So it's something that develops with time.
Awesome. I see you're just over. You're almost at 9.2 thousand subscribers.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know. It's quite an amazing feeling. I remember I had my first special at 300, and I could not believe it. 300. Then with my 1,000 subscriber special, which was ridiculous. It felt ridiculous, and Mrs. S and one of my daughters and a friend that was there came charging in because they were watching the stream. We saw it tick over. Sorry, not stream. Yes, it was just live stream. Yes, I did it. I'd look at larger creators, and you think, I won't ever get there. I'm shooting as high as I can get, but the chance of getting there, that's a ridiculous figure. But I think the secret is persistence.
Sure.
It's not the only secret, because you can't persistently put out rubbish. That won't get you anywhere. But you know what I mean. It's persistence. You've got to keep on keeping on, and it is a cumulative snowball type effect. And then you get a nice break. Perhaps some big channel mentions you, and you get a little flurry of new people visiting, some of which will subscribe. Incidentally, if a channel gives you a shout out, you can expect a ballpark figure is maybe pick up back 1% of their subs. That's a ballpark sort of figure. So yeah, you get a massive channel mention you, and you can get a nice little boost. But yeah, just keeping on. The hardest thing nowadays is finding content, finding subjects to pull apart, because I don't just want to pull something apart dry, boring. I want to do it in a humorous way, because that's part of who I am and what my channel is.
Absolutely.
So there's plenty of videos who I'll look at and think, well, that's rubbish, but actually I can't make it anything interesting out of that, and I'll just leave it.
Fair enough. You got to have a sense of humor, especially with dealing with some of the idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of the most powerful weapons against them. Make them look ridiculous.
Absolutely. Let's see here. What would be one of your more popular videos that you have on your channel?
Well, by views,
sure.
That's my version of Chris the Gate Guy. When he did, he'd done a video about the ISS, and I wanted to do that video anyway, but it didn't half help having it captioned, titled as Simon Dan's Chris the Gate Guy is now ISS Guy.
Oh God.
So that helped. That helped a lot. So, you never know. Well, obviously, and you drop a name like Simon Dan, that's going to help. It can't just keep doing that just to try and hang on someone's coattails. But it was about the guy who was done by Simon Dan, so I felt that was justified.
Is Chris the gate guy the one that put the video camera on a swinging gate and was trying to?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh
yes.
my goodness!
That's the
guy.
one that lifted Simon Dan from ordinary to extraordinary levels of subs.
I remember. Oh my goodness! I watched that on Simon Dan. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the stuff, the stuff that he comes up with for Flat Air Fridays and Tinfoil Tuesdays. Not to shill him completely because he is awesome anyway. But anyway, I just sit there and I'm like, just like, oh my god, really? Come on, it's just amazing. Like a lot of the people in this community do the same thing, and like some of it's repetitive. I mean, it is what it is, but at least somebody's putting their own twist on it. You know what I mean? And that's what I enjoy. Where
you've got to make it unique,
right? Like a couple of guys, Limey Play, for instance, he'll do some interviews, but it's his parody of an interview. You know what I mean? And it's just a little twist on something that makes it just much better to listen to. Like your stuff too is.
There's no point in duplicating what someone else has done, unless you're doing a bit of parody. I have done the same video as someone else, and we both knew we were doing it, but we each had our own ways of breaking it down. So it's quite interesting to see, that's how he's tackled. He's picked up on that point that I didn't, but I've done this that he just left for whatever reason. Yeah. I mean, I have to be careful because I can't do dry maths. I'm not very good at maths, so I steer clear of things like that. I'm not a trained scientist. I've got a good layman's understanding of lots of things. I can research bits where I need it, and I'm happy to say, hey, I don't know that, but I know a man who does.
Sure.
So I'm somewhere in between, because we've got all sorts of creators, haven't we? We've got creators from someone like Creaky Blinder, who likes to point and laugh, through to Fight the Flat Earth, who likes to rip flat earthers to shreds. And there's a space for everyone. And I'm somewhere along that spectrum, probably a little bit more at the point and laugh, but I like to bring science in it to the level that I'm able to when I can.
Sure. Yeah, you don't step out of your bounds.
No, there's no point, because
exactly.
you will trip up and look like an idiot.
It's in the automotive field. I've been doing automotive now for 22 years, and I've trained a lot of salespeople, and it's don't be afraid to say I don't know. You say, you know what, I may not know this, but I'll find out for you.
Yeah, and that's more helpful. I would rather someone providing a service to me, I'd rather they said that, I'll find out. Oh, they're trying to help me, rather than catch them out,
they're pulling something out their ass.
Me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
because then trust goes out the window.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've had to get rid of employees for that. You don't make something up, because now we have to back what you just said.
Yes.
Not happening. So, all right. So let's see here. Who was the funniest person that you decided to pick apart in the Flat Earth community?
Funniest.
Like, was there one that, as you were recording it, you couldn't stop laughing at yourself?
Well, I've got to be honest. When I've done a video, I watch it back, listening through the headphones, because that's where I get the best sort of quality of sound. But I'll listen through it through the loudspeakers as well, to double check everything. Make sure there's no glitches. I haven't spotted something. I haven't accidentally doxed myself. All those sort of things. Then when I've uploaded it, I'll watch it again to make sure it's uploaded okay. And then often, because I like to comment and react with subscribers who are commenting on videos, as soon as it's gone up, I usually watch it at the same time as them as well. So I watched my stuff quite a few times, and so I am okay. Some of the early stuff, I think, oh my goodness, it's more the quality rather than what I'm saying. But I'll be honest, it sounds a bit funny, but I quite enjoy watching my stuff because it's a sense. It happens to be the same sort of sense of humour as me. That's quite genuine, Yeah. Mr. Sensible is a bit of a character, but it's very much based on the way I think about things. There's no hiding. It's not put on. When I laugh at these people, I am laughing at them. When I get exasperated, I am getting exasperated with them. So you actually do see me, pretty much. But the funniest one I've ever done, I don't know. I mean, I get a lot of satisfaction about pulling smug people apart, like Mr. Oakley. And I used to, I'll be honest, I used to actually quite like Sleeping Warrior. I liked doing his videos. I had him on my stream once. We argued, but he was an okay guy. But since then, he's turned into a not okay guy, to the extent that I will not do his videos. I will not give him any publicity because of how obnoxious he's been to certain members of our community. It's all very well for them to turn around and say, "Hey, Mr. Sensible, that was a right load of rubbish because you're wrong because, hey, you haven't got the thickest mane of hair." I don't care. That's if you put yourself out there, you need a thick skin. You need to be prepared for people to fight back. That is fine. But we all know the sort of attacks that only some people have made. Attacks you should never make against anyone. It has nothing to do with flat Earth, globe Earth, science, or anything like that. Purely personal, underhand, and quite frankly, thoroughly disgusting attacks. And that sort of thing really annoys me.
Absolutely.
And people know, people who know my channel will know that on 2 occasions I have said I will go to the police, and I have gone to the police for two things. One was some disablest hate speech made by one creator, and the other one was a creator who was making quite obvious attempts to try and dox me. Both of which I regard as totally unacceptable, and I had no qualms about going to the police.
Sure.
Some people said, well, that's a bitch move, but no, I'm not prepared to put up with that. With the first one, I'm not disabled, other people are, and it caused great offence to a number of people, and that is wrong. And with the other, with the doxing, I have a right to a personal life. My family aren't my channel. That they should not be or feel uncomfortable or at risk, and also me with my life and my employment. It's no one else's business. So that was, the person who was attacking me was stepping outside of attacking Mr. Sensible. They're attacking me personally, and I'm not going to accept it, and I didn't.
No,
and it shut them up.
What is that? That's a half a step away from stalking.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. But there we go.
So yeah, no, that sucks. You've had to go through that, and there's a lot of bigger creators and even small creators that happens to, and it's completely unacceptable. Absolutely,
isn't it just? And the other thing is, of course, there may be some people who want to do something about something like that, but are afraid to. I'm not afraid to. I know my rights. I know the sort of thing that you can do legally and that you can't do legally, and so I shall use that. I would not use that to try and shut a channel down, to shut an argument down. No, I'll do that with evidence and taking a piss, that sort of thing. But I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah, protect you and your family first. That's
absolutely
damn straight. And
they can think what they want.
Craziness. There's always going to be somebody out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to a happier topic. Let's see here. What are some of the bigger people that you've done collabs with out there as far as creators?
Well, I've been on Flat Earth a few times. I did a debate on his channel, and I've moderated, if that's the right word, a debate where he was 1 versus 5. And that was an absolute nightmare.
I think I saw that.
It was like herding cats. It was awful. I've appeared on Stupidity Is Not a Right twice, and I'm scheduled to appear again, hopefully on 23rd of May, which is also my birthday, and I'm going to do a live birthday stream immediately afterwards.
Nice.
I've done...
I was on Stupidity Not a Right last week, actually.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I really enjoy that.
Great fun. Oh, yeah.
I've met the Creaky Blinder. I was in his area a year and a half back, and just messaged him and said, look, I'm in this area, do you want to meet up? So we met up, me and Mrs. S, Creaky and his other half. We had a very nice meal, ever such a nice guy. But that was actually it's the only person I've met from YouTube. And I forget the figures now, how many subs I was on, how many subs he was on. He was probably on 3 or 4 times what I was on. I mean, now he's on a lot more because he's raced ahead. But it was weird. It's not a case of, oh my goodness, it's so and so famous. It's not like that.
Mhm.
But the peculiar thing is, it's like we walked into this restaurant and there's the guy that I talked to on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? That felt so odd,
Mhm.
so odd. Speaking to someone who I've interacted with, talked to loads of times online. You meet them in person, and it's totally different. It
Mhm.
really is. But I really enjoyed it.
But
Uh,
that's kind of like what we're doing here. We're trying to get to know you, and instead of seeing somebody as a creator, you saw him as a person.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
awesome.
No, I understand what you're getting at. I really do.
Mhm.
And I think it's nice, a nice twist on things,
It's very cool.
rather than just talking about just the videos or just the flat earthers. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. And I will say, I think it's great the range of people you've had. You've Aaron Ra, MC Toon. Oh, he's a lovely guy. I've chatted a lot with MC. Such a nice guy.
Hmm.
I think it's a wonderful community, basically.
Yeah, Aaron Raz
And
was the one of the bigger, and it was a deeper conversation that we got into. So I mean, he indulged a lot of his personal life, which was awesome. So I feel like I got to get to know him a little bit better, and some of the conversations that we had, prior to recording and whatnot, was awesome. He's such a nice guy, intimidating looking, but awesome, super nice guy. And I had to ask him afterwards, because one of my coworkers, I made her watch a couple of his videos, and she's like, "Man, he looks like the Undertaker." And I was like, "Oh no!" So after I was done recording and asked him all the questions after his interview, I was like, "Gotta ask you a question. Do you ever get confused with any celebrities out there?" He's like, "I've been called the Undertaker a couple times." I'm like, "Yes, I knew it." It was just good fun. But these interviews have been a lot of fun, and I'm getting back into it. It threw me through a loop when I screwed up with you the first time. Since then,
no, honestly, don't
Not-
worry about it.
I'm not.
Laughed. I laughed.
I know, and but in my head, I took a mental hit, which is why I stopped doing interviews for.
Oh man,
2 months.
I feel terrible
No,
because
it wasn't your
I
fault.
tried to make clear. I thought it was funny. These things happen. Hey, life
Yeah.
gets in the way. Whatever it was, whether it's you got called off for something else or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I know.
It's not like anything was mean. Hey, things go wrong in life, don't they?
Oh,
So
yeah.
what you do, you just move on and push
Absolutely.
yourself down and carry on.
Absolutely, and that's what it was. It was just that piled on a bunch of other crap, and I just went into I'm gonna just play games with my friends from YouTube. You know what I mean? And I did Limey's interview, and then I worked through a lot of the crap in my head. So that's why I finally rescheduled you and got a hold of you. I got Chris Durham music channel, and then I still have
Yeah,
some more
he's nice.
people lined up here, and I'm getting back into it because this really
Good.
it is fun. And
Yeah.
it does actually help me in my head. So
And don't you find that people in this community, they're such nice people. They
yeah,
really are.
I would say 99.8%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, outside of YouTube, I'm not a social person. Obviously, I mix with people at my work, and that's fine. We have a laugh, we do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I'm not the sort of person to go and just sit in a pub and stuff. I can talk to anyone, but I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Mrs. Sensible was absolutely gobsmacked when I started doing this, and then when I started live streaming and that, she couldn't believe it.
Oh wow.
You know. But I really, really enjoy it. And
She's
I've
probably
met
like,
some
"Oh,
great people.
my Mr. S is finally breaking out of his shell."
No, she's thinking he's out of my head, down his bloody office.
Perfect. No.
In my book, actually, I was going to say tonight I brought the book cube. I did speak to some flat earthers, and they said no, it's not a cube, it's a square. Think that one through.
A little bit, but do you have anything else coming up anytime soon that we should be looking forward to?
Well, I have actually just posted on my community post that I've got a dreadful week this week with the way my works, my shifts work out, and I've got so much on. I have on Friday I've got Steaming Cup of Reason coming onto my channel to talk about his new channel and series called Pain of Progress. I'm going to be doing I'm covering another channel slot for a larger creator who has a slot that they can't cover. I'm supposed to be on Fight the Flat Earth on May the 23rd coming up, which is my birthday, which I'm following with a live stream. And you may have heard I bought an item for $1,000 without telling Mrs. Sensible. Did you hear about that?
Just had to check.
Oh, she knows now.
Oh,
I told her what. Yeah, so I bought this item without telling her, and I was doing a live stream talking about it, and then suddenly Bob the Science Guy said, "I'll give you $50 to tell her what it is, and film it when she's told." And then someone else said, "Hey, I'll chuck in 5." Someone else said, "I think it's about $115 that these guys put up on the promise that I had to do a video of me telling her what it was." So it would be bleeped out, so they wouldn't hear what it is, but she would hit to see her reaction.
oh man.
So yeah, that was quite an interesting little video. It is on my channel, but the item has arrived. It's quite a unique item. How can it be quite unique? You know what I mean? It's a very, very rare item.
Okay.
It's connected. The clues so far have been given out. It's connected with NASA. It's not been to the moon. Oh gosh. I believe there's only two of them exactly like that I'm aware of in the world. There's others that are similar, but only two like this. And it's connected with Apollo 11, and it's connected with the astronaut Buzz Aldrin. That was the last clue I gave. So this item, I've received it. I had to have a custom item made, and now it's being prepared. To enable to be shown, and I'm hoping it will be finished on Thursday, so I can wrap up. I've already shot a video of me opening this parcel that was supplied from Buzz Aldrin, and yeah, so I've just got the last little bit of filming to do with the finished thing, and
Cool.
then I'll do a release a video, which I'm hoping will be Saturday. So I'm all over the shop, and then of course there was this interview with you tonight. I just realised I'm not sure when this is going out, whether half this stuff would have happened. People, I hope, have checked my channel, but all sorts of things.
Not a problem, man. Other than that, I mean, is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
Well, just in case any flat earthers are watching this, I am open to a debate by any and all. Oh, that's another thing. I've just had an offer of a debate from someone, so I'm going to sort that as well. But I really, really want to do more debates. I've enjoyed them when I've done them, but it's hard to find flat earthers who will stand up. The last one who I was organising with was Austin Whitsitt, channel Whitsitt Gets It, and I organised it. He said, "Yeah, okay." And I was speaking to James Kuntz, I think that's his name, from Modern Day Debates. We sorted out a date, so it was all planned. So I emailed Austin back. Yep, he can make this date or this date. This is preferable. Which can you do? And I haven't heard back from him. 5 emails I sent him. He's run away. I think he realised on the person who did Mage, because I don't think he recognised the name when I first said, and he was sort of, "Oh, all right, then yeah, okay, if you really think you can, if you're respectful and whatever." And I thought, "I'll rip you a new one." But I think he realised that I did Mage, and so he hasn't technically chickened out and said, "No, I don't want to do it," or whatever. He's just stopped responding.
Ah,
Yeah.
Flirf tech,
So-
No.
Yeah. Yes. And you got a flirt. You got a lighter flirt, haven't you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'm keen to do more debates. I'm always open to suggestions for videos to debunk, many of which I'll look at and think, yeah, I agree, that's rubbish, but I can't debunk because it's not my style or whatever.
Sure.
But if anyone ever has something they want me to look at, please drop me a line. It can be flat earth, it can be creationism, it can be other things, sovereign citizens, Karens, pretty much anything. I'll have a go at debunking. Yeah, so that's pretty much the hardest thing now, is finding content.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to have all the links down in the description here, so anybody that wants to check out Mr. S, please do, obviously. But I'm actually looking forward to finding out what's in, the famous line.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
I know. Oh, man, I was so excited. And
Man.
people every now and then I get a comment saying, have I missed it? Have you revealed what it is? And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to string people along, you know what I mean, for any reason. I mean, the item arrived. and it was then going to take sort of 2.5 weeks to process. That's about now. There was a chance it was going to be ready last Thursday, didn't make it, so I'm hoping it will be ready this Thursday. It'll only be a Thursday, in which case I can collect it on the Friday, wrap up the filming, get the video out on Saturday. That's the plan anyway.
Cool.
And I don't know whether people are going to say, "Oh, is that all it is?" Because to me, it's really exciting, and obviously to me, it was worth the money.
Sure.
Mrs. S wasn't so agreeable to that, of course.
Nah. Sometimes you gotta try to.
Yeah.
Gotta get through that. No.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
It's good. Oh, she's all right.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I do definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule.
My pleasure.
To do this, and I hope that there was people that were watching that didn't know some things about you, and now they do. And I've learned a lot about you because I've never really spoken to you on a personal level or anything like that, and I really actually enjoyed the hell out of this. So thank you.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, much of the stuff, apart from the fact that I've previously said to people that I'm married and got 3 kids and live somewhere in the UK. Apart from that, most of the stuff I've not talked about, and that's because it's not the sort of thing I talk about on my channel.
Sure.
And usually if you're talking to other creators, you're talking about flat Earth or whatever debunking you're doing. So
Sure.
It's made a nice change. It's also made a nice change not to have to worry about pressing all the buttons and making sure the sound's on and things like that. All those things that can go wrong,
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I definitely once again appreciate it, and everybody that watched, thank you very much for tuning in, watching us. Like and subscribe this, and there are plenty more interviews to come in the future. I'm gonna get back on the horse and get this thing freaking rolling. So I look forward to doing some more, and I hope you guys are looking forward to watching as well. So please, once again, like and subscribe. Hit those links below. Go find out Mr. Sensible stuff, and let's find out what's in the box. All right.
Thank you very much. Stay sensible.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later.